Hey, Chris Grove back at you with another video. Today we are doing a film review. This time we're doing Tuff Turf from 1985. Tuff Turf was directed by Fritz Kirsch. Movie stars James Spader as Morgan Hiller, Kim Richards as Frankie, Robert Downey Jr. as Jimmy, Paul Moniz as Nick Hauser, Olivia Barish as Ronnie, Katia Sassoon as Feather, Matt Clark as Stuart Hiller, and Claudette Nevins as Paige Hiller. So this movie is about a new kid in town who falls afoul of street gang and tries to get with a woman that tries to woo the gang leader's woman. And we've seen this story 100 times. It's basically a cross between, it's basically an 80s version of Rebel Without a Cause, with a little West Side Story and Karate Kid to boot. It's filmed in Reseda, just down the street from where Daniel LaRusso lives, so there you go. Fritz Kirsch is a music video director, pretty much. I did a lot of MTV videos back in the day, and that's his thing. This movie has a lot of music, and it feels like one long big video in a lot of ways, but it also has like a lot of heart, and it's a really good movie. It's actually a lot of fun. It's enjoyable. It's actually quite good. It's got some lines that I use when I'm signing off. Well, the line I use when I sign off. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived, so live it. Got that line from this movie. When he's having a heart to our hero, James Spader, who plays Morgan Hiller, is having a talk with his father, Stuart Hiller. And he's like, son, be you and be okay with being you. And life is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived, so live it. That stuck with 12-year-old me the first time I saw this movie and rented it with a friend on VHS back at the end of '85. This movie came out early in '85. It was actually released January 11th, which is the day before my birthday. I was just checking the release date on this. So this movie holds a little sentimentality to me, you know, it's got some sentimental value and I love it. I was drawn to those kind of Karate Kid, new kid in town trying to find his way vibes. And so Morgan Hiller moves from Connecticut. He and his family moved from Connecticut. He was a rich kid. His dad lost their real estate business, so he moves all the way to LA so the dad can drive a cab, apparently, which sounds more expensive than it has to be. Apparently you can't just drive a cab in Connecticut, but hey, we wouldn't have a story, right? So the movie opens with a Marianne Faithfull song, and music is a big part of this movie. And it does seem a little like one, long music video. It starts with Marianne Faithfull's singing a song called Love Hates, as James Spader, during the opening credits, is riding his bike through the Los Angeles night in the valley, down Reseda Boulevard. And he sees a robbery in progress, and he thwarts the robbery, and he takes a can of spray paint from one of the guys, and the spray paints the rest of the guys, and the guy they're robbing gets away. And the way they set these robberies, it's like they use Kim Richards, because she's beautiful, to kind of be the bait, I guess. And there's a guy coming out of a bar waiting for a cab, and he looks well-to-do and has a nice watch and stuff, and they're like, okay, see how much money he has. Hey, do you have change for a $5 and whatever? And he's got some cash, so let's go rob him. That's basically how they do it. Anyway, James Spader's character, Morgan Hiller, thwarts that robbery, and the guy gets away. So next day, first day of school, you got Southside Johnny playing as a sort of a montage is happening, and Stuart cruises on his bike to school. The gang leader recognizes him, and they're like, okay, we're gonna go after this guy and make an example out of him. And they end up stealing his bike, and a big to-do ensues, and there's a bunch of guys kind of drag racing, behind the school, and Morgan's just standing there with his bike, standing his ground, and one of them takes his like Camaro and just creams the bike as he's like holding it like this, and just goes down the driveway and just, or down the street rather, and just hits his bike. And Morgan could have totally moved out of the way, but he just chooses to stand there. Anyway, he meets Jimmy, played by Robert Downey Jr. in class, and Jimmy says, "Hey, it's all over the school between you and Nick Hauser." Nick Hauser is played by Paul Moniz, by the way, who's great, and I guess he's done some producing since this, and some other acting as well. But he plays the gang leader. And, he's kind of got that, I'm a little too old to be in high school, but still young enough to kind of, so we buy it. That's him. And, he's kind of got a little De Niro energy happening. Maybe, just a little kind of that tough guy, bravado energy, Might be Italian, we don't know. Everyone kind of talks a little East Coast in the movie. It takes place in like Reseda, California, so I always love that, I talked about that with Foxes, where everyone kind of talks, like they're from New York a little bit, but they're from the San Fernando Valley. I find that amusing. So, so Jimmy takes a blade that he takes off Feather, who I guess they were dating. He's kind of dating Ronnie, actually, in this movie, played by Olivia Barish. But he's good friends with Feather, and she hands him a blade so he can give to Morgan. And so he gives this blade to Morgan in class, and awkwardly, and then he goes, "Hey, I'm in a band, I play..." So he drums for the Jim Carroll band, apparently. And Jim Carroll was who Leonardo DiCaprio played in The Basketball Diaries, if you've ever seen that. And he's playing at a warehouse, down the boulevard, down Reseda Boulevard. So, because James Spader's bike is wrecked, he's hitchhiking there, ends up stealing a Porsche, takes it to the local place, and they're boogieing down with the Jim Carroll band. And apparently Robert Downey Jr. is the drummer of the Jim Carroll band. Apparently they have a real drummer. It's not actually Robert Downey Jr. But Jim Carroll he was a real life musician he was a kind of a poet musician type who originally from New York, got heavily into drugs as portrayed by Leonardo DiCaprio in The Basketball Diaries, to the point where he was like turning tricks in bathroom stalls and stuff like that. So, and then he cleaned up his act and moved to LA. And what a better place to clean up your act, than moving to LA. But by this point, he's got his act together, and we get 2 songs by the Jim Carroll band. It's Too Late and Voices. I'm actually a big fan of It's Too Late. It's just, the opening line is, "It's too late to fall in love with Sharon Tate." Anyway, just a great way to start the song, apparently. And it's kind of new wavy punk rock. Not new agey, new wavy punk rock. And it's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. And everyone's dancing. And Morgan starts to notice Frankie, again played by Kim Richards, and they start to have a vibe going, and Nick starts to get jealous, and the whole movie is about that, of just Morgan pushing the envelope, because he's rebellious. He's a rich kid who's rebellious, well, from a rich family, but now he's got to live in the valley, apparently, which these days the prices in the valley are pretty high, but back in 85, I guess it was still blue collar. And even today, from what I hear, Reseda is still considered blue collar by LA Valley standards. It's not like Encino, so, which was portrayed in The Karate Kid. But yeah, it's an interesting movie. It's fun. I mean, the tale is as old as dirt and beyond. I mean, this was going on before Christ, really. I mean, these kind of stories of, boy meets girl from the wrong side of the tracks or vice versa, making her gang leader boyfriend jealous, and they got to figure it all out and deal with it. But it's got heart too. It's got that heart. That's why I like the movie. It has heart, and it has some great music. It's got music by Jack Mack and the Heart Attack. It's got music by well, Jonathan Elias wrote a lot of the songs, and he performs this one song where they raid a country club. And they steal Nick's car, the gang leader's car, because he's in jail. Because after accosting Morgan at the dance, he takes off with his Porsche. He thinks it's his Porsche. It's not. He stole the Porsche. So he gets pulled over for Grand Theft Auto, apparently, and he's just out like 2 days later. So, apparently in the Valley, they don't take Grand Theft Auto that seriously, which is why I love these films. Meanwhile, he decides this is a good time to take Jimmy, who has the car, and the girls, both Ronnie and Frankie, just out in the town, showing places they haven't been before. So they go from the Valley. There's this long music video montage where they're going from like the Valley to Beverly Hills. And they end up crashing this Beverly Hills, country club. And James Spader's like, don't worry, it's juniors night. We can stop and get something to eat. And so they stop and they kind of raid the place. But they do it subtly, like they kind of fit in, and they all are very charming. And this is what's great about this movie is it shows the acting chops of Spader and Downey in particular, but everyone. Olivia Barish does great as Ronnie here. Kim Richards is charming as Frankie. All four of them are just charming as hell during this scene, and you see why, especially Robert Downey Jr. went on to bigger things. They're having to kind of schmooze, and they're from a blue collar area, but they're having to schmooze in the Beverly Hills area. Morgan has kind of been to these places before on the East Coast, so he's kind of helping, kind of guiding them through the ropes a little bit. But they're sitting there trying to steal like shrimp from the salad bar and lobster, and Jimmy shoves a baguette down his pants, but they're having conversations with people and trying to mingle so they don't just make it too obvious, and they're schmoozing, and it's charming. It's wonderful, and it's just a great scene. It ends with Morgan singing a song actually performed by Jonathan Elias called "We Walk the Night," and it just goes like, we walk the night, fighting the darkness that breaks our hearts. We'll hold each other tight. Great song, perfect song. So they sing that, and then it kind of buys them some time, and they bounce from the country club, and it's off to go see Jack Mack and the Heart Attack, and they're performing "She's Looking Good." And I don't know how, back in those days, you could be, like, the drinking age was, like, 18. So, as a high school kid, yeah, you could kind of, especially if you're kind of look like a senior, you could get into these places, apparently. So, they're in this club, and she's dancing her ass off, and it's a very sexy number by Frankie. And that's when she and Morgan start to really kind of fall for each other now. And they have a nice long talk about life after college and her mother dying of cancer, and it's just her and her dad just owns or runs this liquor store, I guess on the corner of Reseda Boulevard, and they live like in the loft upstairs kind of thing. And then she dates Nick, and that's her life basically. And is she gonna, what's she gonna do after graduation? She's gonna go to college? Nah, I'm just gonna get married, and that was a reality, I guess, for a lot of blue-collar women back in the day. So, anyway, the movie explores those things. And then it kind of goes to the dark side, you know, with the gang Nick getting more unhinged and jealous, and then it culminates into a kidnapping and Morgan having to come save the day. And that's where I'm going to leave it, because it's all very brilliant. It does get violent, more violent than The Karate Kid. I'd say R-rated violence. This is an R-rated movie, so it's R-rated violence versus Karate Kid violence, which was also kind of brutal. I mean, especially that scene at the fence in The Karate Kid. I mean, Johnny could have taken Daniel's head off with that kick if Miyagi hadn't come in and pushed him out of the way. So, I mean, this turns into there's a big brawl at the warehouse, basically, where the Jim Carroll band was playing previously. So that's how this movie culminates. And after everything is said and done, it's just back to Jack Mack and the heart attack. It's a jarring kind of edit, but it works for this film. It just really works for this film. I like it. I love it. It's a fun movie. Check it out. It's actually someone posted on YouTube, so check it out. It's great. I highly recommend it. And remember, life is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived, so live it. Catch you next time. Take care.